Yeah, Astros won in great fashion. Incredible. Welcome back, Digital Ramblers. How are you? Season 7, episode 47. Long-distance smart home relationships is what we're talking about today. How are you, my good friend, Kris Gamble?
Hey, JJ, I'm very good. I am a long distance away from my home currently, so it's a very topical topic we're tackling today.
Yeah, you got that very Coldplay field going on in the background.
It's all
yellow.
Yeah. Sponsored by Coleman's Mustard. Yeah.
Very 4th of July, ready to eat some hot dogs or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, man, good to see you. We got a great episode coming on today.
Yeah, it's something that is really, for me, there's the undersold benefit of a smart home. People always talk about what happens when you're in your home and all the cool things that happen in your home, but a smart home for me is also awesome when you're away from home.
Yeah, man, the light really doesn't go off, figuratively in the mind until you leave, and you start getting some of that feedback that maybe your technician might have set up for you, as far as activities or schedules or alerts of like things are happening, like the garage door just opened, but not until you leave the house do you really understand the importance of your smart home. So yeah, man.
Yeah, and I'm away on vacation this week, and I've been kept in constant contact with both my home and my business premises of what's happening there based on the tech that we've installed. We're able to draw a lot of information and get a lot of feedback from the two locations.
Cool, man. Super excited about it. I'm JJ Cannon, CEO of Digital Delight here in Houston, Texas. I've been at it, home technology professional installer, for over 20 years. And I love getting together with my good friend Kris Gamble.
Yeah, and I'm based over in the UK. I run a business called Customize. We're based in a city called Norwich. We work all over the east of England and in London. Slightly less of a sentence than JJ. I'm a 12-year veteran of this industry and really enjoying delivering smart home to our customers around the UK.
Hey, Gamble, last week we had a really cool episode exposing smart home tech myths, and it was kind of like a little touchy subject that we dropped.
Yeah, and that reflected in the comments. We certainly got some people who admitted to some of the things that we tackled and talked about. I'm sure more comments will come out of the woodwork as that episode gets discovered on both podcast and in video and audio formats, that there is a few home truths there, and I think one-to-one maybe people will reach out to us further or face-to-face when they see us at these shows and things that we go to.
Yeah, absolutely. And friends, we just want to remind you, check out our website, digitalrambleshow.com. Mike's pulling it up here on the screen. Thank you, Mike. You can find us on YouTube and on Facebook. We're on Instagram. Also, straight from our website, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see all of our podcast episodes that we've done. And today we're recording episode 47, so there's 46 others that you can see. And they drop every Tuesday morning. You can pretty much hop on there and listen to our cut. And, yeah, it's a great website. Please like us, share us, engage with us. If there's something that you'd like to hear us talk about, drop it down in the comments. We'd love to correspond with our audience and all the digital ramblers that are out there.
Right, JJ, let's get into episode 47. Okay, thanks as always to our Patreons. You can support the Digital Ramble Show by going to patreon.com/Digital Ramble and contribute as little as $1 per month to keep the light bulb on and to keep the wheels turning here.
Yeah, thanks, Patreons. We greatly appreciate you. Let's hop into this smart home basics, Gamble. Let's just talk about what some of the basics that smart homes can provide you whenever we're developing this long, what this title of this episode is, long distance smart home relationship.
Well, I think what's obvious when you're installing a smart home is that you're connecting devices to the internet. You're connecting devices to your Wi-Fi or wiring to them to the network, or connecting them to a hub that's connected to your network. And that is obviously great for in-home connections. So when you're in the living room, you can control something in the kitchen. When you're in the bedroom, you can get an alert from the front door, which is only a few meters away. But also the benefit of connecting to the internet is the device then becomes available, viewable, and can report out of the home, out via the cloud, via private connections or whatever's been set up, typically a cloud connection. You can communicate with those devices and they communicate with you when you're away.
And a lot of homeowners that might not have these devices connected yet don't really understand. And so I just want to give them a basic understanding. We talk a lot about maybe like a video doorbell, Gamble, and that's one of my favorites. Like I even have one at my office so that if a package is delivered and I'm not there, or there might be activity outside of my front door of my office, I get an alert, a push notification, like a text message per se, on my wireless device, and it gives me a little, a 2-second clip of that activity or that sound that might have happened outside of my front door. And I don't need to be at the shop or even at my house. I can be anywhere in the world. That's as basic as I can explain it to somebody that might not experience it. For somebody that might not have had that experience yet. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, home security is an easy way to describe it, and it's certainly something that these brands that provide cameras and doorbells and things like that are they're trading on the away from home features. It's not about the convenience of knowing who's at your front door when you're in your house. It's about knowing who's there when you're in your office, you're at the gym, or you're walking your dog in the park. So a big part of smart home is the away features.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the cool features is like geolocations or geofencing, and making sure that if you have a home technology professional that you might have worked with, they might have talked to you about setting up some type of a schedule or an activity that allows your smart home to take an action or create an activity that when you go outside a certain radius, or when you come inside a certain radius to your smart home or smart property.
This is one of the things I see often overlooked or not even enabled. And it comes down to when you're setting up the device, when you're with your professional, or even if you're doing it yourself, enabling access to your location, allowing your phone or the device that you're setting up access to your location. People are sometimes quite paranoid about allowing some of these features on their phones from apps that they might not be fully trusting of immediately. But to get those benefits of that location services and your phone communicating with your smart home devices hundreds of miles away or even dozens of meters away, because geolocation can be happening with just a few meters from your home, or it can be happening hundreds of miles from your home, that it's reviewing your location, making a judgment call. Do I change the heating? Do I arm or disarm an alarm system? Do I set a schedule or a scene or an activity based on you leaving or returning back to your home?
Yeah, and I guess an easy example for us, Gamble, is during the summer in particular with climate control. And if you're on your way to your house, or you're in the area and you're going to the house, you want your home to cool down to whatever temperature you might want it to be. And so if you're within a mile of your home, then your house thermostat knows that, and it starts to chill your home down to whatever temperature that you want it to be. And just in reverse, whenever you leave the house, then it might turn it on to an eco sense, so that it takes it off 2 or 3 degrees, so it starts saving you energy.
Yeah, one of the cool things as well I like is when you leave the home, and this happens a lot with a lot of lighting systems, particularly Lutron for our customers. They have this smart away feature. So when you're away and you've triggered that location boundary, then the home in the evenings will simulate some occupancy by turning lights on, and off randomly until you return home. And when I've enabled that for customers and showed them what it does, the peace of mind they have that their home is reflecting a presence is a really cool feature. And I know that Philips Hue also have it as well from their smart light bulbs. So it's available on a lot of smart lighting systems.
You know, one of the biggest things about leaving your home is security, like what we talked about, but also like smoke and fire, like some other things that we've talked about in past episodes, and I just want to kind of glance, over them real quick. Smoke and fire, door locks, garage doors, maybe gates. Those types of sensors to understand what status that they might be in.
Yeah, like I say, I'm away on vacation this week and I've had a lot of notifications, and I don't mind it, but I've had a lot of notifications saying that motion's detected in a certain room. And it may have been triggered by somebody going past the window. I'm talking more about my office here, and we're on a busy street. And yes, there's been a few false alarms, but I'm still delighted to receive that notification that motion's detection. It'll also tell me if sound's detected, which is a more pressing concern for me. If I would definitely be going in and viewing live that footage from that camera. But also I'm getting alerts on the status of smoke, carbon monoxide, fire, heat, a open contact of a door, or particularly in our offices. I want to know if the storeroom's been opened. We keep stock in there. Anytime there's things of value, and you can totally relate that to the home as well. Your garage where the vehicle might be stored, or expensive garden machinery in that garden shed, or that garage, that store. You can have very simple tech giving you feedback on its status, if it's open, closed, motion, sound, smoke, heat. So very, very practical.
Yeah, and the other thing is that on door locks in particular, and alarm systems as well, is that you can assign certain codes to individuals that have access during particular times of the day. So it's just not like you type in a code anytime you want, but it tells you that Tommy at 2:30 opened up or unlocked this door, and you get an alert instantly, which I appreciate. I really enjoy having that understanding and that awareness of what's going on at what location whenever I'm not around.
Yeah, a lot of our customers use a similar kind of feature, that they know that the children have got home from school, and who unlocked the door. Was it the son, the daughter, or whoever, the nanny, if it was that kind of household? But they know from their desk, dozens of miles away in the city or wherever they work, that the kids are home from school. They might get a snapshot from a camera, or that alert to say that they've opened the front door, that particular child with their code or their fob or their card has access to property. And again, just huge peace of mind.
Yeah. One of the things that I wish that I had several years ago, Gamble, is a motion sensor on my AC drip pan. And one time we went out of town on vacation. Just had a fantastic time. Just really enjoyed ourselves. Our girls, they were relatively young at the time, and we came back, and it was kind of late at night. Walk in the front door, walk into our dining room, and our entire ceiling was on the floor. And we didn't have a smart thermostat to say, hey, we don't need to be pumping air condition, into an empty house while they're away. But two, I didn't have a moisture sensor in the drip pan to say that it was overflowing or that water was gathering in it. And when that drip pan overflowed, then it started flowing into our sheetrock and into the insulation, which got heavy. And literally a 4x8, square area of our ceiling was all on our floor, on our carpet, on our dining table. It turned a fantastic vacation into not a very warm welcome when we got home. And of course, we could repair it and get it fixed, and of course we did. But if we would have had a sensor that could have said, hey, there was moisture building or there was water overflowing, then we could have made a call to our neighbor to tell them to hit the switch, to prevent that type of issue of occurring.
Yeah, this is where we see actually insurance companies offering sensor technology to their customers. So take out a policy and you might be sent a water flood sensor, a motion detector, a door contact, a temperature sensor, a smoke or carbon monoxide sensor, to ultimately stop them having to pay out insurance claims because you've had a burst pipe or fire damage, smoke damage, a flood from like the AC drip pan has caused damage to flooring or clothing or anything like that. And those sensors that track that data and that information are very, very inexpensive. And I can see it becoming quite a firm fixture in homes. And it could be provided by people like your insurance company. It may be something they insist you have to limit that payout.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think not alarm companies, insurance companies are truly gravitating towards that. One, to
Yeah.
reduce like you said, their payout, but also the time and the pain that it causes for everybody involved, for sure. And the other thing that I think is important is like sensors for wine collections. I don't know about you guys, but we got a lot
It
of
doesn't
people.
last. I don't collect it. I collect empty bottles.
You
That's
collect
about
empty bottles.
it.
We have some clients that have some very prestigious wine collections that need to be monitored, with some precision when they're at home and definitely when they're away. And it can also put somebody on alert that, hey, if the humidity rises above this percentage, or if the climate rises above or drops below, please get over there and handle it, because some of these collections, man, are ridiculous amounts of investment to keep their wines right.
Yeah, again, just practical protection of your assets, whether it's a wine collection or your flooring or your ceiling. It's affordable technology being used sensibly, practically. It's been thought out. And that there are applications that you don't, and this is what the smart home is not all about: big TVs and sound systems and wires, miles of cables and things like that. I'm a big fan of the practical smart home. I believe that it should be promoted more by the professionals in our industry, and that there are very simple, speedy installations that can be carried out that will look after your home, and it will be easy to manage and not complicated to use at all.
As I was doing a little bit of research on this topic, Gamble, one thing that I see that maybe it's because I'm more in the city, but I'm really starting to see it expanding into rural areas with like crops. And like the farmers, and they have hundreds of acres, and they might not be able to it there might not be as many cowboys out there to manage the fields as they or their livestock as there used to be. And so how do you do more with less? And we're seeing a lot of sensors be deployed, or even drones being activated to help manage large acreages of property. So not only the home or the business, but fields.
Well, this is more towards the Internet of Things, this network of devices that are going to monitor, city parking lots. They're going to monitor, crops for farmers. They're going to monitor factories for the owners to know how many staff are there, what's the temperature, what's the humidity, what's the, different levels of other toxins in the air. It's all this data that's probably going to long term be pushed out over 5G is going to be one of the platforms, and uh, communication protocols for it. Other things are LoRaWAN is one we've talked about in some of our early episodes, a very long distance, low speed communication protocol that's going to deliver all that small amounts of data, regularly from river water level sensors, structural feedback from bridges and tall buildings and wind levels and all these kind of things that cities and councils and departments will need, and that's a much wider practical application for technology.
All right, let's get back down to something that we do on a regular basis. I'm almost, it seems like every episode I'm talking about irrigation. And, whenever you're away from your house, you can put on an irrigation, you can put flow sensors on them, or on your water pipes, main water pipe coming into your house, you can put flow sensors coming onto them. And if you see something, or if it senses something irregular, it can automatically shut it off for you or send an alert to you so that you could make that determination. Or easily, when you're away from the house, just turn the water off to your house so you don't have to worry about it if nobody's there at the house. One of the biggest ones for me is like we did a client's house the other day, and they had more of your traditional scheduling control system, and they wanted to water their yard, but they had a busted pipe, one of the sprinkler heads, but they still wanted to water the yard, but they couldn't figure out how to go into that traditional system to turn off just that one zone. And so what do? They just let it water as normal, and water is just gushing out into the street, which it crushes me. But with a smart irrigation system, you could simply open up your phone with a water sensor. It would alert you, hey, there's something not quite right going on here. And you can disable just that one zone very simply, whether you're at the house and can see it, or if you're away and have no clue that you have a busted water pipe, but your flow sensor says, hey, something not quite right going on here whenever this zone is flowing.
Yeah, the waste of water is a really horrific occurrence, and it's just increasing all the time. And actually, this week I was asked to participate. This is going to happen later in November, locally with some other construction professionals, just to have a debate, discussion, gathering to talk about how the construction industry is so wasteful typically in its construction methods and the building of homes and commercial spaces, and how much they're wasting energy and the use of water and the pollutants, and how we should be reporting what's taking place rather than falsifying the statistics around construction, and how it's just a huge sinner in global pollution.
Right. All of these items that we've talked about, Gamble, are sub $249.
Yeah.
And even way below those prices, just depending on what you're trying to monitor or manage. But they are extremely valuable and impactful to your home or to your business or to your property when you're not home or when you're not there.
Yeah, what I'll say is you will maximize your investment in these devices by putting them in the hands of a professional. So giving these products or working with a professional to curate products to look after the practical side of your home, you will maximize that investment. So certainly if you don't know, work with a home tech pro on this side of your home.
Absolutely. All right, Gamble, that was fun. I enjoyed talking about that and highlighting
That's
some of
cool.
those.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the practical smart home. I think it's something that we don't promote enough. We're always talking about the entertainment and the network and all these things.
Well, you do have to have a good network for all this stuff to work. So,
Sure,
the network is the foundation of everything that we talk about.
Of course.
Mm-hmm. All right, Gamble. We got a Gamble Ramble today?
Yeah, I've always got one loaded, ready to go.
All right, we ready to pop this one off?
Go on then.
Hit it, Mike.
Okay, so Gamble Ramble this week is titled, you'll see it on the screen if you're watching the video, The Free Ride Has to Stop.
It's got to stop.
And yeah, this is and I'm talking about my business, I always relate it to things I do. We've done an installation for a customer. They've spent a lot of money, for sure, in the tens of thousands in some cases. And for that tens of thousands, they've got lots of hardware, lots of time and labor and manpower, person power has gone into that installation to deliver it. And then there's that period where, there's some tweaks and changes. They've moved in and we've got things smoothly running for them over the months and years. And then something crops up 2 years in and this email comes or telephone call. This has stopped working. And our reply is, and that's unfortunate. Let's see how we can support you with that. It looks like this box might need changed. It looks like this device might need changed, or it looks like some settings might need to be altered by our staff, or there's some conversation about some work that has to take place, or a box has to be changed. And then the reply comes back, I'm assuming this is free. How is it free? How did you assume it was going to be free? Well, I spent a lot of money 2 years ago. This cost a lot of money 2 years ago. Well, no, actually, the part that's gone wrong is a small cost. It's a few £100s. It's going to cost us maybe a couple of hours to rectify it. You will receive a bill for a few £100s. Oh, this is crazy. I spent a lot of money on this. Is this conversation happening with the car dealership? Is this conversation happening with the furniture supplier? Is this conversation happening with the kitchen supplier? I don't believe it is. I've spoken to these other professionals. They're, sending an invoice to their clients, to repair something on the car that's broken. Okay, there are warranties. But when things go outside of the warranty, I'm afraid you're going to have to pay for the repair, the replacement, and the labor, the person that's having to fit it using their experience, their time, their assets, their resources. So yes, there is a free ride for a small amount of time, and then warranties lapse, and labor is still labor, time is time. So you have to expect there are going to be running costs on your smart home.
Gamble, I'm glad that you brought that up, because it seems like that's something that's been in our industry for many years. Like that assumption is there, and some of these systems are expensive, and they cover a whole gamut of different intricacies. From what used to be just TV and speakers is now what we're talking about today. Your smart home, which is more of property management. But yeah, man, I want to stay in business. I want to have a quality crew and I want to have good communication with our clientele. And in order to do that, there's cost associated with it. And fair, you got to be fair in the sense that if things are under warranty and labor is part of that, then yeah, absolutely. But man, there is a threshold, a time that passes that warranty does expire, and compensation needs to be applied accordingly.
Just to add something that springs to mind, is something that we've had been burned personally in the past, is yes, there's a warranty for the equipment. That doesn't mean the work done by the professional to replace the item, get it back up and running, reprogram something, reschedule, whatever it is. That was time that I do have to bill for. There's not always a labor warranty. There might be a warranty on the box, but I didn't make the box, so I need to be compensated for my time or my staff's time to get that working again for you. And it's an awkward conversation. I'm just putting it out there. I'm sure others can relate to it, on both the homeowner and the professional.
Yeah, we always warranty our labor and credit our labor if we installed it wrong the first time. But normally you see it. I mean, it won't work. if it's installed wrong the first time. But it could happen, and if it does happen, definitely we're living up to fulfilling and getting those things right for our clients, because we're in the relationship building business, and we our time really doesn't start with that client until we leave the house. So great topic, man. I really enjoyed talking about that and hearing about that.
Cool. So we're getting close to episode 50. We're only a couple episodes away from that, so we better get our thinking caps on, and we've got a few things up our sleeves for episode 50. It's going to be a bit of a celebration of the Digital Ramble.
Yeah, man, I'm super excited about that. I cannot believe that we got 50 coming under our belt here very soon. Super excited about that, and our audience that has gotten us to 50. If we didn't have an audience, then I don't know if we could have hung in there like we have, man. But it's great to see the engagement, to see our audience grow, to see people excited and cheering us on and saying, man, I learned something from you guys.
No, that's cool. Super cool. Right, I'm going to go back to my sun lounger by the beach and top up on my tan.
All right, sounds good, Gamble. It's great seeing you. And for those that, if you don't know, find yourself a home tech pro. And until next week, y'all have a fantastic week. Every month, the Digital Ramble will receive a regular source of income from supporters who've pledged through Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, having your ongoing support means we spend less time thinking about business and more time creating quality content for you.
Customized, based in Norfolk, England, are proud sponsors of the Digital Ramble. Check out our all setup services. It's smart home installation with ease. Customize.uk.com.
If you're looking to make your basic home smart, check out digitaldelight.com/shop, where they have a variety of different smart home technology solutions that help make smart home shopping easy for you. Check out digitaldelight.com/shop.